Good morning. I'm Karen Taradas with Social U. It's time for What's Up Wednesday, where we come to you live every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. to talk about social media tips, tricks, and trends. And this month we are talking about, what are we talking about this month? They just totally jumped right out of my brain. Today we're talking about social media myths, the top 10, but I'm also going to include some wisdom from my team because we're in it every day. Next week, we're going to talk about turning your content into cash. We are going to interview an expert on social media that specializes in monetization. I think that'll be super interesting. And week number 3, we're going to talk about brand power in action. There are brands out there who have done such successful branding, such successful videos. They've changed the landscape of their own industry. And we're going to look at those individually. And then the last week of this month, we're going to do a challenge, quiz on Christmas, getting ready for Christmas and Christmas promotions. So the 12 posts of Christmas social media challenge. Basically, we're doing all business stuff this month about how to improve or grow your business, and looking at some successful businesses who've done these things to help them grow. Okay, let's get into the myths. There are so many myths. Okay, and I like numbers, so we're going to do 10, but then I definitely want to talk more about some of the tips from my own team. Okay, number 1, social media marketing is free. Is it? Well, creating the account is free. A successful social media strategy, it requires a significant investment of time, effort, and often money for paid ads to maintain visibility and achieve goals. So you have a choice. You can pay for somebody to do it, or you can do it yourself. But a lot of your success is determined by your creativity. So if you're not going to spend any time on it, it's not going to work for you. So you want to make sure that you are investing what you need to invest. And that includes being able to post consistently with good content so that you can actually be seen. It's really not free. It's really not. Social media myth number 2, you have to be on every platform. Wrong. So wrong. Spreading your resources too thin across multiple platforms or social networks, it is just a recipe for disaster. It leads to burnout and inconsistent content, and worse, it leads to posting the same thing on different platforms at the same time every day. That makes me crazy. Pick 1 or 2, 3 max. Most businesses, even businesses who hire us to do this, you can only maintain content for so many platforms for so long. It's exhausting. So for you to be on, and our team does it because we have to, we're a social media company, but don't think for a second I'm the one doing it. I'm not. I have an entire team of people who help me, and we have different people who post on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. You see where I'm going with this. It's very difficult to do it all alone. So don't do it all alone. Either enlist someone to help or hire someone internally who can help you. But yeah, you don't want to burn out. And I'm a big believer in bandwidth versus, there's a big difference between ideal and reality. And you have to do what your bandwidth can handle. And most small business owners who wear all the hats by themselves, or small nonprofits who are doing it all internally, 2 platforms is about as much as they can handle. So just do what works for you. Myth number 3, more followers equals and likes equals success. Also wrong. I would rather have 100 committed brand warriors than 1,000 followers who I purchased who don't engage with my content at all. Those are just vanity metrics. A large follower count means nothing if they don't engage with you or respond to anything you post. And quality engagement, not only does it build a strong community, but it tells the algorithm on every single platform that your content is good enough to share. So if no one is engaging with you, they're going to stop letting anybody see it. So just having followers to have followers isn't helping you at all. Myth number 4, you have to post multiple times a day. Oh gosh. Okay. This myth is relative to the platform. Most platforms can't handle more than 1 post a day. It's too much. Actually, on Facebook, it's one of the number 1 things that gets you unfollowed, because unless your Facebook page is incredibly engaging or has a ton of followers, it just can't handle more than 1 post a day. People get overwhelmed when you post. You want to focus on quality over quantity. really and truly that's key. But inconsistent, low quality content can be as detrimental as, over posting. It's the same. You have to find a nice medium. Again, ideal versus realistic. And flooding people's feed with a bunch of weird stuff. And there are certain industries that have a reputation for this. I'm not trying to pick on real estate agents. I'm not. But for a long time, a lot of real estate agents would post listing multiple times a day. It's exhausting. You cannot do that and maintain your followers. People they won't tune in for that. Myth number 5, the algorithm doesn't like scheduling tools. Okay, this is a little true and a little false. The algorithm doesn't care if you have a scheduling tool. Let me tell you who cares. The platform. Most platforms don't like third-party apps playing in their sandbox, and they make it very difficult to integrate a third-party user. I would say with the exception, Hootsuite is still pretty decent, and Tailwind, if you're going to use Pinterest, Tailwind is great. But Facebook wants you to schedule in Facebook. They want you to schedule Instagram through Facebook. LinkedIn, why wouldn't you just schedule it in LinkedIn? It doesn't make sense to use a third party. And I love HubSpot. HubSpot's great. It's not cost effective for a lot of smaller business and nonprofits because it is expensive. And sometimes, as with any third party, it gets disconnected. And it makes it difficult to tag. So if you're going in there and you're tagging a bunch of other users, a lot of times HubSpot won't recognize that. And we love HubSpot. But we, as a team, try to schedule organically just because it's easier, truly. Number 6, social media is only for young people. Also wrong. Social media demographics are incredibly diverse. Some of the largest, fastest growing accounts are for people who are over 70, which kind of blows my mind. But one of my favorite accounts on YouTube, the woman's 80 something years old, and she's adorable. And she gets on YouTube once a week to make Sunday dinner. Adorable. And she has thousands of followers. More power to her. One of my favorite accounts from last year was the Eagle Brand lady. Love her. So you don't have to be 12 and wear a swimsuit to get a decent following on any of the platforms. Myth number 7, social media isn't for direct sales. Really, it's really great for brand awareness. It's also a very powerful tool for generating leads and sales. Strategies like shopping, shoppable posts, effective calls to action, they work. There's a reason big companies spend millions and millions of dollars on Google and social media ads. They work. And integrated shopping is much bigger now than it was even a year ago. So you're going to see more and more of that. Number 8, you have to be perfect. You have to have highly produced content. I would say transparency outweighs perfection. And if you've heard me teach or train at all ever, I will say done is better than perfect every day of the week. Get it done. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just be you. Your transparent self is better than some polished, filtered Kardashian wannabe any day of the week. I will advocate for that to my dying day. I just be you and go ahead and get it out there. If you go back and look at some of our first videos on TikTok, it is humiliating because they're terrible. They're truly, deeply awful. But you have to start somewhere, and you can't get better until you get started. So just get started. Now, sometimes for professional commercials, having a very polished brand video, that's awesome. But again, if you're a small business or small nonprofit, you can't always afford super polished. So done a lot of times is better than perfect. We're all relatable, human focused, and outperforms almost 100% because people relate to it more. They get it. Number 9, myth. You should never share or reuse content. Boy, this is wrong. You don't want to use the same content on the same platform on the same day. But if I'm posting on Instagram on Monday, next Friday, in 2 weeks, I could post that on LinkedIn, probably. Reuse your content. It takes too long to curate and create for you to use it one time and never look back at it again. And statistically, if you have great content and it does well once, it'll do well again. Almost the exact same performance. And what I mean by that is if you got 20 likes on a post on Facebook, statistically, if you post it again in 3 to 6 months, you're going to get 20 likes again. And those numbers are consistent over and over repeatedly. So it's okay to reuse. Now, it's difficult to reuse seasonal content unless you're going to do something like Christmas in July, which You can, you totally can. But like happy Labor Day, of course, you're not going to post that in February. It would be weird. But evergreen content that you can share for 3 to 6 months, absolutely, absolutely do it. Okay, let's see. Again, it's just, it's so long. It takes so long, and it's such a huge commitment of time and money. Reuse it where you can. Okay. Number 10, you can ignore negative comments. Absolutely not. Reality, really and truly, deleting or ignoring your comments can hurt you a lot. Standing 10 toes down on something that's wrong can also hurt you a lot. It's better to be, as a business owner, it's better to be gracious and apologetic than right. Now, there's a huge difference, and we could do an entire session on just responding to negative comments. There's an art to it. There's a method to madness. You don't want to admit, tremendous guilt in a public way, but you do have to address negative comments. And sometimes the comments are wrong. The customer is not always right. What do you do if the customer is not always right? What do you do if you've been left a comment that's way wrong? Well, you address it professionally, briefly, and then you stop. Do not get into a war of wits with an unarmed person. You're never going to win. You've heard that, you guys, in case you can't tell, I'm Southern. When you fight with a pig, you both get dirty. Don't do that. It's okay to step in and say, I'm sorry you had this experience. I would love to help you. Let's take this offline. That's the ideal. You don't want to delete them, because when you delete negative comments, it's gone from someone venting their frustration to personal vendetta. I have seen this happen with other business owners where they made it personal and it got ugly in a hurry. And there are people sometimes who just post the wrong information. And it's okay to defend your position once and then leave it alone. The more you engage and the more you respond, you're pushing the algorithm for that comment, for that post, and it's going to keep rising to the top, and more people are going to see it. Don't do that. Address the criticism professionally, calmly. Have empathy. Show that your brand is accountable and committed. And for heaven's sake, if somebody calls you out and you know you're wrong, apologize. Apologize. These same weird business owners that are like, I would never do anything wrong. Of course you would. We all do. We all make mistakes. Every single person in the world makes mistakes. It's okay. Just admit it and move forward. Long term, people would rather see people will do business with you based on your reaction to negative comments. So do the right thing. It's the easiest thing I can say. And we have blog after blog after blog about how to deal with negative comments. If you want more information about that, we will post a link to our most recent blog in our comments so you can go back and look at them. But negative comments they can't be ignored nor deleted. Okay, team wisdom. So we're just going to keep going with the numbers. 11. Anyone can do it without learning anything. This is half true. I believe, I call it the Ratatouille principle. Anybody can be a great social media manager, or a great social media manager can come from anywhere, but it does take time, it takes dedication, and it takes experience to get really good at it, just like anything else. If you want to learn it, you absolutely can. It doesn't matter if you're 50 or 15. It doesn't matter if you've been on social media for 20 years or you've been on it for 20 minutes. You can get good at it if you want to, but you cannot default to, we have a 19-year-old intern in our office and just hand them the keys to the kingdom. That is how catastrophe happens. So yes, anyone can do it, but you do need to go through a learning process first. Number 12, success is overnight. It's not. Even people who have mega viral videos, it takes time for them to grow. I recently saw a interview with Leanne Morgan. She's a stand-up comedian, and she just had her very first Netflix special, and she was doing an interview, and the interviewer said, how long did it take for you to become an overnight success? And she said 25 years. So it's not instantaneous. It's never instantaneous. Number 13, a good social media presence is all you need. Also wrong. A big mistake we see business owners make is thinking that social media is the be all and all solution. You still have to have a marketing plan, which includes messaging and branding and strategy. You have to have an email list. You have to have a great website. There's a lot of moving parts. Now, Do you have to have them all the day before you open your business? No. Everything in its time has its time and place. You don't have to do it all at one time, but eventually you do need to do it. And a website's one of those things you just can't get away from, truly. And then the last one, posting multiple times a day is good. Change happens immediately. Got to be everywhere. So it's same thing. You can't be all things to all people. So pick and choose your battles so that your time and energy works for you. That is it. Thank you guys for joining me. Next week, we're going to have an awesome interview. I'm very excited about it. We're going to talk about monetization on every platform. So bring your questions. We will be live and we're happy to answer those for you. Until then, I am Karen Taradas with Social U and I'm here to help. Thanks.